morning to you, Grenada. Middle of the week, Wednesday morning, 27th day of November. Thanks for joining us for this midweek edition of Good Day Grenada. I'm George Grant, and there they go. Hey, 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 hey. Ernesto, congratulations. He's up first this morning on social media, followed by Osmond Lewis. Nice to see you guys. The rest of the class will be sauntering in very shortly, and I bet they'll all have excuses. For being a few minutes late, but that's understandable. You guys out there in North America are an hour behind us. We understand that. But anyhow, nice to see you guys. I see Ernesto's also saying happy 75th birthday to Chester. And yeah, yesterday you may have heard me say happy birthday to Chester Simon, who's out there in Zurich, Switzerland. And I realized this morning when I saw it pop up on Facebook that yesterday wasn't his birthday. Today is his birthday. So, for the second time, a very happy birthday and God's richest blessings to you, Chester. You've been through a lot and see that you've bounced back. And I certainly hope that on this day, your birthday, 75th from what I see here, you are eternally grateful for having a second chance. God bless you, sir. Benedict Cador is saying wonderful Wednesday to you guys this morning. All right, now let's take a look at what we got going on here this morning. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Those of you who are part of social media, and I would imagine that's most of you, you probably know that social media has been a buzz with this documentary which was done this week by Al Jazeera. And this morning I'm going to bring you an excerpt. Now there are a couple of versions of this thing that were put out there. First there was an audio version, which I didn't bother playing for you. It was about 20 minutes long and it might have been sort of boring, although it was extremely well done. Might have been somewhat boring to just sit there for 20 minutes and listen, you know. But then, yesterday, the video was actually released, and that's 53 minutes long. It's up on YouTube. You can go watch that at any time. Simply pull up your YouTube page and type in the search field, type in Diplomats for sale, okay? And bang, top of the list, you'll find that piece from Al Jazeera. Like I said, it's 53 minutes long. I'm not gonna bring you the entire 53 minutes. Actually, if you wanna see the whole thing, you can A, go to YouTube like I just suggested. B, you can go to my Facebook page, GRENADABROADCAST.com, the same page you're on right now. And C, you can also go to the GRENADABROADCAST.com website. It's all over the place, all over the place. So I'm gonna bring you a piece, an excerpt from that program, the 53-minute program. I'm gonna bring you a little bit there in just a wee bit. We do have the national report. That comes your way in just a wee bit. And yes, sir, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. So okay that she's going to be sitting in this chair here with me in just a little bit. I expect that any minute now I'll hear the door, and that will be our good friend chiming in. Okay, now, quick glance here before I go into that piece from Al Jazeera. Let's see who else is here this morning. Rachel John is saying good morning. Hello, Rachel. Aline Buddy Hosford's also saying good morning. John says, John, I thought you were British. What's this? Habari ya Asubu? He says it's Swahili for good morning, George. Okay, Mr. Swahili. Good morning to you, John. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Good to see you, fella. Thank you very much. And he says here, you learn something new every day. Absolutely. That's what I like about this program so much. Thank you, John. Margaret Francis is just saying, she's in a rush this morning. She's in her office, I know, and she's probably just typed, GM, good morning. Well, GM to you too, Margaret. Good to see you. Yvonne Joseph says, morning, Mr. Grant and class from cold Canada. Okay. Well, you know, you should have been on, there are 2 cruise ships in here this morning. You should have been on one of those, hey? Good to see you. Now, folks, let's turn to Al Jazeera. And here is an extract from Diplomats for Sale.
Our investigation also takes us to Grenada. Prime Minister Keith Mitchell has been in power for most of the last 25 years. His diplomatic choices don't seem to conform to the spirit of the Vienna Convention, that ambassadors should be nationals of the country and full-time diplomats. Many of Grenada's ambassadors are foreigners with business links to the island, although there's no suggestion these diplomats paid for their appointments. Oleg Feira runs an internet firm in Miami, while Grenada's ambassador to Moscow. Hamza Al-Kholi heads a global company, while a UNESCO ambassador in Paris. Naguib Sawiris designated Grenada's ambassador to France, but never accepted by the French. Sawiris is one of Egypt's richest men. He owns the luxury Silver Sands on Grenada's premier beach. He's now building phase 2 further along the bay. Locals fear expansion into the adjoining Camahone Park, the last strip of public land leading to the sea.
The young trend love to come play in the sand. The park is our access way to the beach. Camahone Park is a part of me. It's a part of my life, my childhood life. And really, it's one of our national assets, and we deserve to have this park.
We can have a situation that's happened in many countries where all the lovely sites were taken up with commercial development. The residents have become second-class citizens, and there is nowhere for them to really enjoy anymore.
Their fears were reinforced in 2017 when a draft resolution to protect Camahone Park from redevelopment was rewritten by the government.
Instead of having the park as a place for us to enjoy in perpetuity, they rewarded it to say that all attempts should be made to facilitate the investor's expansion of his project. So this is worrying when the government would go to that end.
There's no evidence Naguib Sawiris paid Prime Minister Mitchell for his title. By contrast, an American conman says he did pay for his ambassadorship.
Eric Resteiner is a serial fraudster who for a spell operated in the Caribbean.
David Marchant runs the financial crime database Offshore Alert, which investigated Eric Resteiner.
Why would he want a diplomatic passport?
When you operate like Resteiner does, you either know you're under investigation or you know that you will be under investigation at any given time. So it provides a level of security.
Offshore Alert claimed Resteiner promised Prime Minister Mitchell $1 million, handing over half at a Swiss villa, with a plan to ensure he wasn't double-crossed.
His former head of security told me that he secretly recorded video and audio Restiner giving a briefcase with $500,000 of cash in $100 bills to Keith Mitchell. After it was secretly recorded, Restiner told the head of security that if he tries to with me, I've got him by the balls.
And the head of security then put all of this down into some form of legal document, is that right?
He swore an affidavit, and I was given a copy of that.
The Americans jailed Restiner for fraud in 2006 and confiscated the tape without making it public. A judicial inquiry accepted Prime Minister Mitchell's explanation. He did receive cash, but only $15,000 for travel expenses.
Keith Mitchell just wants to enrich himself at the expense of the people who voted him into power, and it's disgusting. It's disgraceful.
You know what $1 million US can do in an election? That alone could finance a whole election.
George Warm publishes the New Today paper in Grenada. He says his sources confirm the sale of diplomatic passports has helped Keith Mitchell stay in power.
There is a gentleman, he was a government agent. He was like the middleman in establishing the communication between these individuals and the government. And he was telling me the kind of prices that these diplomatic passports and other official positions. But when you're talking about the diplomatic passports, it was going for $1 million EC.
And if $1 million was paid, where did that money go?
Into personal pocket. These are the monies that the politicians would then use to service their constituency. So when the people say we want a fridge, we want a stove, that's where the money is coming from.
A number of times I've had people approach me asking whether I could get a diplomatic passport because they know I hang around with all the prime ministers.
Leo Ford has spent years doing business in both Grenada and Dominica.
For the prime ministers, I would suggest that the trade of diplomatic passports is the most lucrative endeavor. First time I had heard about this was 15 years or so ago. Then the price was $25,000. Then it went to $50,000. Today, as I understand it, it's $250,000. Unless you're hot, really hot, then the price will go to over $1 million.
Hot as in what?
Criminal activities, indictments, it happens.
So the more desperate you are for the immunity, the more the price goes up.
Exactly.
All right, you see the sign?
Yeah. The sign was for a project in Grenada also linked to an ambassador role.
Yep. So GSA was the project, and then Across, they were the people who were bringing the money in.
Yeah. What would have been here and what is here now is totally different.
The site was meant to be an organic shrimp farm, a government-approved project for foreigners to invest in and gain citizenship.
They spoke about a lot of jobs, you know, for this area. All in all, I feel like a real disaster for the country. You know, that didn't go on.
Carl David was working for the man who initiated the project, Leo Ford.
So we would have employed 100 folks in the area that had the highest unemployment rate on the island. So there had to be something going on the island where they needed a big rah-rah for the election, because the election was coming up.
Plans for the shrimp farm were announced by Grenada's Prime Minister.
I'd like to invite to the podium the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell.
I'm so proud of what we've seen here this afternoon, and look forward to it, to see this project take off in every sense.
The PM, as we were walking out of that, I said, I'll build it, but I'm going to need your help for the approval process. And that's when the Prime Minister said, well, the election's coming up. We take campaign contributions, talk to my ministers.
How did you interpret that comment?
That means they wanted a lot of money to make everything go ahead quickly.
Sherron Dawoodi, a Swedish national, was the partner who raised the project funding. Both Leo Ford and a colleague say Dawoodi told them he was offered an ambassador role.
Sherron was talking with his attorney, and his attorney, who's very well connected with one of the ministers, convinced him that he could become an ambassador for the UAE from Grenada.
How did he seem to feel about this?
He was like a little kid in a candy store. He went out and bought himself a pair of $800 or $900 shoes. In the grand opening, it had rained and it was muddy, and he's traipsing through in these beautiful, fancy shoes.
A year later, Keith Mitchell won his 5th term in power, but neither the ambassadorship or the shrimp farm ever materialized. Sherron Dawoodi denied he'd been offered an ambassadorship and called it a vendetta by Leo Ford. He also denied the money raised was missing. That's now the subject of an investigation by the Grenada government. Keith Mitchell said all the allegations about him were false and came from political activists wanting to tarnish his name and hurt Grenada.
Okie dokie, there you have it. That's an excerpt from the Al Jazeera feature, Diplomats for Sale. Now, let me continue saying hi to some of you who just showed up. Claude Pudna is there. Anthea Rello is extending birthday wishes to Chester. Kipling Francis sending his blessings as always. John Nozinek says the UN is just as complicit for accepting these ambassadors and diplomatic statuses. Interesting point, and I want to see if this documentary is actually going to spur some action in that area. Very good point, John. Michelle Forsyth says, add that to the list of shortcomings of the United Nations. Sickening, so says Michelle. Keep an eye on it, guys, keep an eye. Diana Norge Lewis is saying good morning to you guys. So is Bernadette Thomas Alexis. And Anthea Rello says, George, I'm wondering what the Right Honorable Don't Go There is saying now. This is worldwide, not just us Grenadians talking. They could cause Chime FM to shut down. Let me see him shut down YouTube. What's in the dark must come to light. I heard those words uttered just moments ago, Anthea. Interesting point. Joan Wellington saying, good morning, Mr. Grant and audience. The things flashing all about over social media is not smelling good for our little island at all. But it's not new. It was just doubtful all along. Yeah, you know, a lot of the stuff that came out in that documentary, I think a lot of people knew. But you know, the way this thing was packaged professionally, and not just hearsay, but factual, I think that's where the power lies. That's what caught so many people's attention. John says, now the doubt has diminished. Very good point. Margaret Francis says, GG, read documentary spurring action. Don't hold your breath. Mags, you've been there, eh? Yeah. But Mags, come on, Georgie Porgy has to be hopeful, you know? I don't give up very easily. I just had to be hopeful, so spare me on that one. Isaac says, we must stop this liberty of our PM. He will deny everything that is laid against him. Ernesto says, things that make you go, ooh. And Nicole is also chiming in. All right, folks, let's take a little break and then we'll come back with a national report.
Christmas safety tips. Always unplug Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to sleep. Check your tree lights and outdoor lights for damage each year before you use them. Discard lights with frayed wires, loose connections, and cracked sockets. Do not overload your wall outlets or extension cords. Remind children never to touch lights or outlets. Select lights appropriately. Never use indoor lights outside or vice versa. Happy holidays from Grenlec.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Dams, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
National Water and Sewage Authority NWASA to apply new water rates in the coming year. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, November 26th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. The National Water and Sewage Authority NWASA will be implementing new but competitive water rates from January 2020 as part of tariff reform. The company, which employs about 200 people, undertook a tariff review in September last year as part of its strategic plan, and after a competitive tendering process, US-based firm Raftelis Consulting put forward a number of recommendations in a report completed at the end of last month after being chosen by NWASA in April. Raftelis, whose website, raftelis.com, states that it has a unique focus on the utility and public sector, reviewed NWASA's current tariff and evaluated alternative tariffs. It says if rates are not adjusted, NWASA will run a deficit next year. It will not meet its debt service coverage requirements of its lenders and will have no cash in its fund balance by the year 2022. In essence, it says the current rates are insufficient. During a press conference immediately following Tuesday's post-cabinet press briefing, NWASA's General Manager, Mr. Christopher Husbands, said by implementing the tariff increase, the company hopes to have a better control over its capital investment schedule so that it can access concessionary sources of financing. This, in turn, will give it greater ability to control its implementation schedule. He explained the new rate structure.
Under the current side, this is what our water rate is now. So on the domestic side, we have what you call an increasing block rate. We have the first 2,800 gallons, you pay $8.10 for the 2,800 gallons. That moves up to $9.48. The next category moves from $13.50 to $15.80. And the large volume category on the domestic moves from $20.25 to $23.70. This is per 1,000 gallons. Your fixed monthly charge moves from $10.80 to $12.64. So it's not even $2. On the non-domestic side, the variable component moves from $21.35 per 1,000 gallons to $29.35 per 1,000 gallons. And the non-domestic, their fixed monthly charge is fixed on an annual basis, and it's based on your previous year's consumption. So the persons who now have a fixed monthly charge of $15, if all things stay the same, their fixed monthly charge will go up by $5. Those with the $33.75 category will go up to $46.35. So that is a new rate structure.
The benefits of the new rate include significantly more investment in the water sector. Mr. Husband spoke of the impact this will have on customers.
Persons in the domestic category who are within the 700,000 gallons per month, this may be a one person in a house kind of setup, they would have a current monthly bill of $16.47. Their monthly bill will go up to $19.28, so an increase of $2.81. And that is a component of the fixed and the variable. The average person, small household that's in the 2,400 gallon per month category that has a current monthly bill of $30.24, their monthly bill will go up to $35.39, so an increase of $5. And persons in the higher domestic category, someone paying $60 a month now for water will go up to pay $70, so an increase of $10 for the month. On the non-domestic side, again, the smaller non-domestic user, this may be someone with a small shop that doesn't have a lot of consumption, but is conducting business activity. Their current monthly bill will be $23.54 now. That will go up by $8. The larger users will go up by $21 and $83 respectively. This gives some more details on, this is the domestic side, right? So just put this up so persons can have some more. So if your monthly bill is now $40, it will go up by $40, it will go up by about $6, $7. If your monthly bill now is $20, it'll go up by about $3. If your monthly bill is $70 now, it would go up by about $11.
NOWASA was created in 1992 without any adjustment to the water rates at that time. One rate increase was held in 2010. Since the last tariff, the company has spent $37.8 million over the last 10 years using internally generated funds to improve its network. Under its 10-year capital plan, NOWASA needs financing for a number of projects, including investments in IT at $45 million, pipeline upgrade $85 million, and production facilities $25 million. Mr. Husband says they need to finance $178 million in capital investments. Despite the planned increase, Grenada still boasts of one of the lowest rates, making it competitive and affordable regionally.
Water is still very cheap. I said earlier the domestic water, the first block in the domestic category will now be $9.48 for 1,000 gallons. That is less than 1 cent a gallon. So every single domestic user for your first 2,800 gallons of water, you are paying less than 1 cent. So even if we round it off as, you can't even pay us 1 cent now because ECCB don't have that ticket, right? On the non-domestic side, the non-domestic has a fixed variable rate, which is $29.35 per 1,000 gallons, which is basically 3 cents for a gallon of water.
Cabinet has set up a committee to meet with the College Council at the Tia Marisho Community College in a bid to resolve the ongoing dispute surrounding non-payment of increments amounting to $6.2 million. The council, meanwhile, must submit a proposal to Cabinet as soon as possible on how it plans to address the outstanding payment, and that proposal must be ready for next week's Cabinet meeting.
I will tell you what the Cabinet decided yesterday. They submit a committee set up to meet with the council, and they must come up with proposal for the next Cabinet meeting. That is soon. So the work must be completed this week. with how they're going to address the payment, because the issue is the outstanding payment. So this week, the committee will meet with the council and they must submit a recommendation. That means this recommendation will have to be in before Friday to reach the cabinet on Monday, and then cabinet will take the decision on the way forward.
And any information as to the committee, the comprise?
Well, it will comprise of the minister responsible for tertiary education and representative from the council, usually the chairman, the principal, the buzzer. These will be the main people. And they must come up with a proposal to submit to the union in the hope that we can reach a settlement in the matter.
That's Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph. The minister responsible for tertiary education will be a member of the committee. The college has two sets of workers, those seconded from government and are paid by government, and additional staff employed by the college. The council has been hiring staff over the years and is supposed to report to the Minister for Education on its financial position. Government gives a total subvention of $17 million to the college, $14 million for payment of staff, and $3 million for utility bills. During a recent parish meeting held by the government at the St. Patrick Anglican School, Public Relations Officer of the Lecturers Association at TAMCC, Victor Phillip, spoke out about the issue, asking for the government to step in and assist.
So what I'm saying is that whatever needs to be done, whether with the public sector or whatever, if you have people who cannot manage, there is common sense. You need to get better managers. TAMCC has, I would say, the resources required to take TAMCC or take Grenada education into a quantum leap. But we are failing with management, with having vision, and being able to manage TAMCC as an educational place and as well as a business.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The Grenada Trade Center, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Utilities, NTRC, and the PURC, presents a mega trade show and educational drive from Friday, November 29th to Sunday, December 1st at the Grenada Trade Center. Bring out the entire family to be informed and educated on financial, ICT, and insurance matters. Also on display will be LED energy-saving products, jewelry, art and craft, and so much more. You can also enjoy fireworks and sweet steel pan music. Mark the date, Grenada, November 29th to December 1st, Grenada Trade Center, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's a family affair. Our partners, GUT Credit Union, Antillean Insurance, Flow, Blue Bubbles PA and Rental Services, Nexio, and GIC.
Continuing the news, Cabinet has approved that the lease of 3,179 square feet of land in Carrier, St. Andrew to the Grenada Cocoa Association to construct a receiving station. The land will be leased for 33 years. That announcement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, during Tuesday's post-cabinet press briefing. He says this will help to improve the operations of the Grenada Cocoa Association.
Right now, they are renting facilities in order to buy cocoa when you have to go and sell cocoa in that area. The Cocoa Association do not have their own building. And so Cabinet gave approval to lease this parcel of land to the Cocoa Association so that they can construct a receiving station. That will bring a lot of relief to the farmers, because we have had a lot of complaints from farmers of how far they have to travel and how inadequate the current arrangement is. And therefore this will help address the concerns of both the farmers and the Cocoa Association themselves, who want to build the receiving station but do not have lands. And therefore with the allocation of the lands, that should alleviate the problem of buying of cocoa in that area in St. Andrews.
And finally, Pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean, has been named one to watch in the ABTA Travel Trends Report 2020, the only Caribbean destination to be included in the UK benchmark report since 2018. Independently selected by the ABTA experts, inclusion is based on a range of factors such as accessibility, major events and celebrations, and areas that are experiencing a revival. The ABTA, Association of British Travel Agents, has been a trusted travel brand for over 65 years and helps UK holiday makers travel with confidence. Revealing the report to travel industry and media leaders, Victoria Bacon, the association's Director of Brand and Business Development, confirmed Grenada was selected for a number of reasons. She says the beautiful Caribbean island is a feast for all the senses. Grenada is incredibly fertile, and its green hills are full of fruit, nut, and spice-bearing trees. Chocolate also grows happily on the island, and chocoholics can visit the Diamond Chocolate Factory, watching the magical process of cocoa growing from tree to bar. The report also added that the capital, St. George's, is a very attractive place, with lively bars and restaurants, and Grenada has some very beautiful beaches which are less crowded than many other Caribbean islands, including Grandance and Riviera beaches. The other destinations included are Chicago and Lake Michigan, Georgia, Madrid and its neighboring cities, as well as Morocco, Namibia, Singapore, and South Korea, to name a few. And that's the National Reports. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alec, we're starting work on the house soon, and I'll need your help.
Sure. What do you need?
I got a service application checklist from Grenlec's website.
This looks easy.
It is. We need a new service.
That's option A.
So wherever there's an A, that's something we must do in order to get the service.
So the other things without an A don't apply?
Exactly. The checklist shows us what documents to bring, the fees, and how soon we'll get the service.
So that you realize for all services, we must complete the right application form, have a valid photo ID, and a certificate from the electrical inspector?
That's right. The electrician will help us apply to the ministry for a certificate of inspection. So we'll use the checklist to get everything we need before going to Grenlec. This will make the process smooth and save lots of time.
Okay, might as well get started.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who supporting the environment. That is why I shop in that food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
All righty, folks. You know, excuse me, there are a lot of comments still being put on social media here about the Al Jazeera piece. But I want to bring Sharon in here first and say good morning, and then I'll share those comments with you. Good morning, Ms. Robertson. How are you?
I am good.
You're feeling better, I hope?
I try not to dwell on how I feel. I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that I'm alive. I woke up this morning, which is a real good thing.
You know, looking at the smile on your face this morning, it's hard to imagine that you're going through what you're going through.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm sitting here and I'm getting shocking sensations down my left leg.
Shocking sensations?
Yes, because
that's from these folks out there on social media.
So. I have a nerve touching on something, so every now and then I get like almost as if you put your hand in a socket. But I'm so used to it now that I tune it out mentally.
And these shocking sensations are different from hot flashes.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, excuse me. All right.
Hot flashes. Funny enough, this morning I was telling somebody about that. It starts like somebody has a torch in the bottom of your foot, and all of a sudden it starts to move up. I call it power surges. And it move up and then it get to your ears and you just want to scream. The things that women go through.
You hear that, Max? Power surges.
Yeah.
All right. Sharon, listen, just before we start, and I'm sure you're going to be touching on this anyway. There's some comments here that I really, really want to share with the audience this morning. Let's see here. Michelle Forsythe said, I must say, though, that to be fair, it wasn't as damning, she's referring to the Al Jazeera piece there. She says, it wasn't as damning to our beloved little island as I thought when I listened to the trailer. There is no damning evidence against Mr. Mitchell. Hence, it is my word against yours. My shock was that the Dominica ex-prime minister was trying to wiggle out of it with some incoherent nonsense.
Right.
So says Michelle. Then, John comes back and says, Michelle, have you watched the whole video? All 53 minutes of it? Then Anthea Rello says, again to Michelle, she says, really, Michelle, there is no little or big sin. If he was not a part of this mess, his name would not have been called. So says Anthea.
Where is smoke, there was fire.
Okay. Donna says, so you see how people who are supposed to be free-thinking can support corruption in any form, especially when it's their idol who is committing the acts of corruption? Okay, Donna, you tell them. Let's see here. Michelle says, every last minute, John, and anyone who looks objectively will, I think, see the same thing. Benedict Cador says, why did the PM have to be reimbursed? Methinks that the PM has acknowledged receiving payment. The amount is not important. Okay. Nicole, I'm going to try and pronounce your name properly this morning. Nicole Gittens Kishinama. Yeah, she says, where there is smoke, there is fire. Did you just say that? Everything you say this morning is being echoed out there on Facebook. Where there is smoke, there is fire. No one was willing to throw him under the bus. Still very damaging. He is more experienced, but it casts doubts, so the damage is done. Pele, good morning. Ernesto says, what is bothering? When hearing that people who involved in illegal practices will pay more monies to become ambassadors representing Grenada, and no one knows who are these guys, and mostly where the monies went. Margaret says, Michelle, unfortunately, one cannot view this in isolation. It is not a matter of Grenada versus Dominica. The fact of the matter is, the whole region is suffering as a result of the actions of countries like Grenada and Dominica. The problem of correspondent banking is something that affects every CARICOM country, whether they're selling passports or not. The visa requirement imposed by Canada was a direct result of that. And the European Union is now looking to do the same. So in essence, Peter has to pay for Paul. Okay, Max? Michelle Forsyth says, Anthea, no little or big sin. That's true. But can you really say that if you weren't there, your name could not have been called in a matter as serious as this? What you believe or what people may want to see has not been proven, and Al Jazeera had no choice but to say that. What else is there? Michelle Forsyth says, yes, Margaret, that is what the issue is. We can and do exploit the CBI program because there are so little checks and balances. While I have many other questions, I maintain that the report said nothing was proven. And of course, there is a comparison with all the other islands. Plus, my mention of Dominica was the response to the report, not a direct comparison at this time. Okay, Michelle? Let's see here. John says, good morning, Sharon. Waking up each morning is a prize. She agrees with you there, Johnny. And Margaret says, Sharon is right. Yep, Sharon is right. So I'm on top of the world this morning, too. Ernesto says, I think the CBI program should be abandoned because it's not serving the purpose it was intended to. Okay. Claude says, good morning, Miss Roberts. Claude, you know Claude Putnam?
No.
Anyhow, he says, good morning, Miss Roberts. Good to see you. My queen. Excuse me, your queen. He says, God bless you.
Where is Claude?
Where is Claude? She wants to know where you are. Okay, Yvonne Joseph says, the only help to stop all these corrupt prime ministers and their parties in the Caribbean is to stop voting them into office. Yay, Yvonne. Nicole Kishinama says, why did the U.S. authorities keep the video evidence of our PM in the Swiss chalet? I wondered about that as well. I believe due to many legal technicalities, things can be suppressed. But the Grenada government has a reputation out there for corruption.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all over the world. Anthea says, Donna, that blindfold is tight on their eyes. Colorblind can also be in the mind. Kipling Francis says, all because of greed, people are suffering. And finally, Jackie O says, good morning, I'm always excited to see Miss Sherron. People excited to see a girl.
I tell you.
All right, Sharon, so where do we begin this morning, girl?
I'm listening to all the comments, and I'm thinking, Michelle Forsyth, she not that wrong, you know, because I listened to all the reports, and all I'm thinking of, the people who understand and criticize and are against Dr. Mitchell for what some of us consider corruption is like singing to the choir. We all know that. The people who are waking up are the ones that we have to pay attention to. You know, the Bible say came to call the unjust, not the just, right? So speaking among ourselves as to what he do and what should be done, that's not having any impact unless you could see people doing like let's hope that what Tobias has done by moving away is genuine. When you have people like me who supported Dr. Mitchell, there was a time when I remember my friend Carla would tell you, she and one of my friends, John Phillip, we were talking one day. I lived in St. David at the time, and another friend that was there started to badmouth Dr. Mitchell, and I said, let me tell you something. Anything you have negative to say about Dr. Mitchell, say it in the road, not in my house. And I was prepared to throw them out of my house for saying anything negative about him. You know why? At the time, I believed in him. I believed in what he was doing. I genuinely believed that the things they were saying they would do and all that for Grenada was true. When I realized that a lot of it was BS, and I saw for myself the way they were laughing at one of the members of parliament for saying something that they considered contrary, I said, these people don't have a heart. When I see in 2003, I heard rumors about, oh, Dr. Mitchell said this and Dr. Mitchell said that, and I started to investigate and found out that some of it was true. I decided, you know, I have to give these people their space. And God is so good, and God has been so good to me. Sometimes I describe him as a practical joker, the way he put you into positions to protect you. When I worked with the US government, I did not support any political party, none whatsoever. And I remember in one of the newspapers, somebody carried a story that said the Roberts family, one support NDC, one support NNP, and their sister serving a foreign government. So what? That is where I got a job. I was loyal to them for 13 years. I did not support any political party. I worked with both an NDC and an NNP government, and any of them who are honest enough will tell you that Sharon Robertson was very straight-laced, and I play according to the book, not who you are or what you are. And that is still who I am. And if Dr. Mitchell do something that I agree with, I'd be the first to tell him.
Wave a flag.
And in like manner, if he do something I don't agree with, I tell him that too.
Yeah.
You know, we're supposed to be pumpkin vine family. My grandfather had 5 children with Dr. Mitchell's grandmother. You understand? We call the same people auntie and uncle. But if you do something wrong, if one of my brothers who we share same mother and father do something wrong, I'd be the first to say to him, I don't agree with what you did. Because I'm a person of principle. And that is something that was ingrained in us. And my father always said to us, if you can't say something good about somebody, shut up. Shut up. And I believe that. But when I open my mouth and say that that they did so and so, I don't have nothing to gain. I never work with them. They don't pay me a cent. That's why I always tell them, fire me. If you don't like what I say, fire me. I work within my household. I don't work for nobody. You know? So what Michelle said about what will come out of that? Well, she said she didn't see nothing so damning about Grenada. It is damning. But the reality is, what do you think will happen out of that? Eh? You listen to CNN whole day and you hear, this time they got Trump. This time. Which time? You think anything untouched, Dr. Mitchell? We could talk from now until doomsday unless the people who support him accept that what he is doing wrong, unless they have a conscience and they pull away and say enough is enough. What do you think will happen?
You know, that's one of the reasons I have such a great admiration for the United States. They have checks and balances. And if even you support a party and you see a party doing wrong, you come out and say,
except they're not doing that now. Except they're not doing that now.
Well, times are changing. But here in Grenada, man, come hell or high water, I mean, supporters of the party, they see things going wrong and they know they're wrong and they're not saying diddly squat.
Say some. Because if you use a blanket to cover everybody, then people like myself, my brother Kennedy, Terrence Forrester, and now Tobias, and there will be more. We crept away from under that blanket.
Yeah.
So use the word some.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Once you see drip full bucket, once you see they start to pull away and the conscience start to hit them, and we see things like what happened the night before, the 2 nights before election about the gas and oil, and now people not seeing that.
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook yesterday 2 people who I know are totally loyal to NNP. Totally. Saying some very negative stuff. And I responded by question mark. And the person called me and said, I am so mad. I said, sweetheart, I hope you wake up. I hope that was a wake-up call and that next election you remember that. And don't fall again for their lies.
Kipling Francis says, everything you are saying is the gospel truth, Miss Sharon. The problem some people are too far gone to turn back. The bribery eat away at all their reasoning, but we still have to try. Ryan says, freedom of expression is crucial. Joycey Smith says, I agree with you, Sharon. When something is wrong, it is wrong. When it's right, it is right.
Yes, but you know the thing is, what did Kipling say again?
Kipling says, everything you're saying is the gospel truth. The problem is some people are so far gone.
Right. You cannot be so far gone that you can't turn back. I was so far gone, but you could turn back. If I turn back, anybody could turn back. If Terry Forrester turned back, anybody could turn back. Take my word for it.
And
I
Sharon,
can tell you.
And Sharon, this weekend, I hear there are a few more.
Well, I will not be surprised. George, when I started, I became affiliated with NNP. Most of the people you see there now weren't there, you know. Most of them weren't there. I remember I was in the days of Joseph, the lawyer, Sir Joseph, I can't remember.
Laurie Joseph.
Lawrence Joseph, Tony Joseph, the former Governor General, Williams, Danny Williams. That's how early I was involved with NNP. And sadly enough, I am the person that introduced my brother Kennedy to NNP. You hear me? So I am so proud that he is not there anymore. And the people that knew, the new people that came and think they're more NNP than NNP, wait and you will see. Wait and you will see. I remember my Pumpkin Vine family, Peter David, in front of my mother's house telling me, Sharon, how you could support Dr. Mitchell? I tell him, I say, one day you're going to tell me better. I have not had a serious conversation with Peter since then. Yes, Peter David called my mother auntie, and I call his mother auntie. I call his father Uncle Charsley. We were close. I am still close with some of the brothers, and I love Peter dearly. As a person, I love Peter David. As a politician, I have a lot of question marks.
Oswald Darbo says, my biggest takeaway from the Al Jazeera documentary is that Grenada was conned, and there's a loss of $18 million that would have alleviated some poverty in Grand Pave. Is that how you pronounce it? P-A-U-V-R-E? Pave? Pav? He says that's in Victoria, St. Martin.
Okay.
Okay. Forgive me, Pele.
That's the name of the place?
P-A-U-V-R-E.
I don't know.
Okay. No, anyhow, yeah, he said that money could have been better spent.
I think one of the things I ask myself is, where all that money gone? In whose pocket? Because we're not seeing it on the ground. We're not seeing it having any effect on the people. I think that if we start to do things like the money you pay for road tax and the money you pay for driver's license and vehicle license and all that, if we use that to repair the roads, we'll be good. Where is that money going to? Where does that money go to? Shouldn't it be going back? When you have a business, you put back into your business to see it grow? Little things like that. Little things like that can make a difference.
Pele is trying to help us pronounce. He says, Pova, Grand Pova.
Okay.
Initial French name. Did I get it right, Pele? I hope so. Grand Pova. Okay. All right, Chad, we're starting to run out of time. What else you got up your sleeve, girl?
Well,
I think this is up everybody's craw right now, this documentary thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But me, I have a thing about Christmas. And people say Christmas coming. I say Christmas reach. Because if you wait for the 25th of December, it's too short. So all now, Christmas reach for me. The only thing I have to do now is to get my Christmas tree. But I'm preparing, I'm doing things. I'm baking my cake this week because my husband going away next week. And I have to send cake for my brothers and stuff in New York. So I am keeping busy doing stuff.
So I guess you've already written to this Santa Claus guy?
I write Santa Claus long, and I believe in Santa Claus, eh?
Will you stop saying that?
I believe in Santa Claus. I even have a song about that.
You believe in Santa Claus?
Of course I do.
I ain't gonna lie to all you. I ain't gonna lie. He and I parted company. I must have been about 7 years old.
Don't say that. Don't say that. He gonna hear you.
You gonna hear me? Well, he vexed with me long time. So no. I was a clever little kid at 7 or 8 years old,
and you worked out there was no Santa Claus.
Yeah, when I figured it out.
And you wonder why he's forgotten about you?
Yeah, well, that's his business. Santa Claus. All right. Margaret says, and sadly, that was the second time that we know of. Remember the loan guarantee that was given based on a piece of jewelry? We never learn. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice?
No.
Shame on me. Fool me once, it should be shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's it, Max.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, and she has corrected herself here. Are you making cake? One of my favorite candy.
I make fruit cake.
Ernesto.
Very strong, lots of wine and rum. So one little mouthful could get you
Hey, listen, some more advice here. Somebody named Wayne Hutton Francis.
Yes, I know Wayne Francis.
Okay, Wayne says, Pele, it is grand pauvre, meaning great poverty.
Oh dear.
That's what, thank you, Wayne. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
They actually have a place named Great Poverty in Grenada.
Apparently we do.
They need to change that name.
Need to change that name. All right, Mags, not Mags, Sharon. Mags and Sharon, same thing. I certainly hope we're all going to get together over the holiday season. You know, I'm not a big Christmas person. I can't lie to you. I have to be honest. But
I'm from Pitimartinic. We celebrate Christmas in a big, big way.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm serious. I do all the things, the painting, the cleaning, everything that goes with what we consider Christmas.
Okay.
I go to church ever so often, not every Sunday, but I would say that I don't believe that church, the building, can do anything for me, although I go occasionally. But I believe in Jesus Christ. I know that he wasn't born on the 25th of December. Have no fear. I know all that. But I'm a Christmas person.
Just in case you're wondering, I know you didn't ask, but just in case you're wondering why I'm laughing here, Margaret says here, what? No Santa Claus? Blasphemy. Exactly.
I tell you, Margaret is a lady after my own heart.
Yeah. What would I do?
It's the whole magic of Christmas. I just think it's a magical time. You feel uplifted. I used to be so anxious at Christmas time because my dad would sail and you're wondering, is he coming home for Christmas? And sometimes you're so sad, like Christmas Eve day, you're not seeing him, and you wake up Christmas morning and he's there. I mean, all that to me was just magic.
Lydia James says, I don't think there's anyone who loves Christmas more than me.
There you go.
Sharon does. John says, what does John say? He says, I don't have a chimney. How does he get in? How does Santa Claus get in? He doesn't have a chimney. Through the back door.
Come in through the back door, that's right. Santa Claus has a way of adjusting to culture. He's a cultural Santa.
Okay. Claude Pudner says, Miss Sharon, like you, I believe in Santa. Will you guys stop it? Please? Aren't you adults? One of these days, and I've already told the story, one of these days I'm going to tell you why. Ernesto says, Gigi, today is the eve of Thanksgiving, and Friday is one of the biggest shopping days leading up to Christmas. Oh, okay. Yeah, big time in the United States. Eh?
You know something that surprised me? I was in the U.S. just recently, and normally the Thanksgiving is all about Thanksgiving until after Thanksgiving, then it's all about Christmas. And I found that this year, it was all about Christmas before Thanksgiving, and I was wondering if that's the way it was in New York and those other places, because I saw places in Florida all dressed up for Christmas, and I'm thinking, what? Don't they normally do that after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
So yes, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so all the folks out there, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys and gals.
And remember, originally it wasn't really turkey, it was the
rat.
How you call the deer? The deer meat is called I forget, venison or something. Anyway, that's what it was originally. And yeah.
Margaret says, Sharon, Christmas should be celebrated in a big way with all the trimmings.
Thank you, Max.
You and Margaret. Yeah.
We get together, I mean, my family get together every Wednesday, but apart from which, for Christmas, that's when all the cousins are included, and we have a Santa for the kids and all that.
John says, Christmas is so commercialized.
Yeah. but
Margaret says, yes, Sharon, the Christmas trees at my office went up the first week in November.
wow.
Benedict Cador says, yes, Sharon, here in Georgia, Christmas was up since Labor Day.
Wow.
Mm.
So it's getting, I was telling my husband, oh, today is our anniversary, wedding anniversary.
Anthea says, Sharon, in Georgia, it was before Halloween.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was up there before Halloween, and it was in Florida, in Palm Beach, it was up before.
John says, venison. That's the word you were looking for.
That's the word I'm looking for.
She says, that is Rudolph the reindeer.
Oh, my God.
Oh. Ryan says, yep. Slow cooker, spiced pot roast with potatoes. Happy Thanksgiving, all. Okay.
I
All right.
encountered last year deep fried turkey. Never
Deep
know
fried
that.
turkey.
Yeah, they had this. They deep fried the whole turkey instead of roasting it. They deep fried it.
Okay.
That was just awesome. That was my first encounter with that.
Okay. You know, there are a lot of things I miss about Christmas. The smell of the Borden tree, for example, that was our Christmas tree. We couldn't buy Christmas trees, right? So we used to cut these Borden trees and whistling willow trees and so on. And of course, I love my sorrel,
Yes.
my ginger beer.
I've been boiling sorrel for the last month.
Next Wednesday, please.
Yes. You want sorrel?
A bottle, please.
No problem. I'll be a Santa.
So there's still hope.
Yep.
I really thought I blew it this morning by confessing my sins. Sharon St. Louis says, deep fried turkey is awesome.
Yes. Yes, it's awesome. I'm not a turkey person normally, but I quite liked it.
This is Margaret. Margaret says, John, Rudolph got a presidential pardon, so he cannot be cooked. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer is cooked. Margaret says, yes, Sharon, fried turkey is awesome. All right, well, I guess you guys are going to have a wonderful Christmas, and that's, I'm very happy for you. And I'll just try and stretch that bottle of sorrel that Sharon's going to bring for as long as I can keep pouring water in the bottle. And
I don't put rum in my sorrel though.
That's fine.
Okay, because my household don't really like rum.
And you don't overdo it with sugar, I hope.
No.
Okay.
No, because I feel that you could always add sugar and rum if you want to. I do a special brew that my late nephew introduced me to, where you do not boil the sorrel. You use a wide mouth jar, and you put the sorrel in it with the of course you clean the sorrel and everything, and you put it in with a bottle of rum, sugar, spices, and you leave it there for about a year.
Okay.
And it turns into sorrel brandy.
Okay. Ryan says, not turkey person. Gigi, rum and sorrel? Rum and... Okay, never mind. Michelle says, too true, Sharon. It is the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right.
Okay. Margaret says, once a year won't kill you. I guess that's having the rum in it and the sorrel.
No, I don't have it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right, folks, I've kept you guys 15 minutes over time, but you didn't mind. Sharon was here. So, you know, thank you very much, my dear friend. Don't forget the bottle of sorrel.
I wouldn't forget. You might get it before Wednesday.
Okay. I can see them lining up at my door now.
Yes. You eat fruitcake as well?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know some people don't.
You know, my mother baked for a living. That's how she sent me through college.
Okay.
That woman made the most awesome fruitcakes. She used to make fruitcakes here in Grenada and ship them to England and Canada. Wow, I miss that. Miss you, Mom. Love you. Okie doke. Donna Joseph says, yes, Gigi, my grandmother made a sorrel liqueur, and she put rum, and that thing can last for years.
It's true. It's true.
Thanks to the rum?
The rum cures it, you see. And
Okay. All right. Okay. She has enough. Benedict Cador says she has enough in the cake. You put enough rum into the cake?
Oh boy. And my cake has been, my mixture has been sitting there for over a year.
Well, Lydia James says, well, Sharon, you shouldn't put rum in her cake too.
Why?
Because you don't drink it in the sorrel.
I didn't say that I didn't drink rum, you know. I say I don't put rum in my sorrel because of people in my household who don't drink rum.
Okay.
My husband don't drink rum, my sons don't drink rum. But I rather rum than beer and stuff like that.
Scotch, vodka, gin?
No. I don't drink scotch and vodka and those things. I'm a rum person.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to bail now. Thanks a lot, my dear friend.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
All
Happy
right.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Don't go, Sharon. Hold on a minute here, because we do have a parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Psalm 27, verses 1 to 5. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. One thing I ask, one thing only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. Psalm 27, verses 1 to 5. Just before I go, let me say this, footnote. When I pulled out that scripture last night, by the way, I have a whole list of scriptures. And when I'm preparing this program the night before, I asked God to guide me, let me know which of these readings you want me to put out on a certain day. Last night, as I pulled out this, I came across something which is in circulation on social media. There's something that has been set up by obviously some people who have axes to grind. And it's a yellow picture. Am I describing this properly?
Yeah.
It's like a yellow icon with a picture of me, Jude Bernard, and George Worm of the New Today. I don't have it handy here, or I would show it to you. But it's obviously some people who were disturbed by that Al Jazeera piece in which Jude, George, and I appeared. And it now looks like the three of us are responsible for the mess that this country is in. I urge them to please read Psalm 27, 1 to 5. Notice I'm leaving you with a smile on my face because my heart is at peace. I got nothing to fear. Yep. Wheel and come again. God bless you.